Hey everyone, Heron here from Heron Fox Farm, and I'm back out in the orchard for a quick little tour of the orchard. Let's see, today is July 27th. It's about 10:30. It's about 80 degrees here, and I want to show you what the crop looks like. Hang on a second. Okay, so we're at the end of July, midsummer, and you can see how green the orchard is still. We keep this ground cover going just about year round. We got the strips really clear from burning the weeds with the propane torch. It's taken a bunch of repetitions of the flame, but the strips are really clear, which is going to be great for harvest. We will have to mow this ground cover down probably twice more in the next couple weeks to get it really short for harvest, because we'll be harvesting in probably mid-August. We'll start the first variety, the nonpareils. So you can see the nuts here. They're full size. The hull is split on most of them, not all of them. And maybe all of them. So yeah, they look pretty good. It's a light crop. There's not a whole lot of nuts, but maybe you can see some. So here's what the almonds look like right now. This hull right here is like a fuzzy kind of peach skin, and those at harvest they get cleaned off and then piled up and sold to organic dairies for cattle feed. The cows love these. The hulls are really high in protein, and yeah, makes great cattle food. And then that's the shell. It's hard to do this one-handed. I don't even think I can open this without... Here, let me bite it. This is a messy one. But there is the almond inside, and it's still green. It's got at least a couple weeks to mature, and then so yeah, that's the almond inside. I can't really... there's half of it. So the skin is still green, and the nut is still pretty moist and slippery. So those are gonna have to dry out a lot before harvest. But it'll be extremely hot here over the next few weeks, so that'll dry them out, and we'll cut back on the irrigation and do a lot of mowing over the next few weeks, and then we'll start harvesting. Here's one on the ground. It's already dried out. Must have got knocked off the tree and then fell on the ground, but this one's nice and dry already. And there is the almond. That's a beauty. So this variety here are the buttes, and you can see the hulls haven't started splitting on those. These are the latest variety that matures. So we usually harvest these about 3 to 4 weeks after the first variety that we harvest, the nonpareils. So these still have a ways to go. So here is our new planting. These are the trees that we just planted last month in June, and we pruned them way back, and this is the growth that they put on in about a month, which is pretty awesome. So yeah, these are the rows of trees. There's about 1,700 new trees, and then in between the rows we've planted beans. This is what my brother-in-law does, and so he's farming these beans, and in exchange for letting him do that here, he's actually taking care of my entire orchard for me this year. So that's a lot of help for me. Makes it worth it. And the beans actually add nitrogen to the soil, so it's a win-win scenario. And these beans are growing incredibly fast, so they will be harvested, and yeah, my brother-in-law has a contract to sell those. But yeah, meanwhile the almond trees are getting established. We have a single row of drip irrigation, and then we also have the sprinkler heads here. That we got brand new sprinkler heads and these valves that we can shut them off if they need to be repaired or cleaned out. And the sprinklers we basically use for frost protection on the mature trees when they're blooming, but it's helpful for basically I wouldn't be able to intergrow the beans without the sprinklers. So my brother-in-law's been irrigating this bean crop with the sprinklers, and it also waters the almond trees too. But then we also have the drip irrigation for when there's no beans growing. So for the first year or two, we keep the drip irrigation right along the rows of trees. And then after a year or two, we'll add a second drip line, and we'll move them out away from the trunks. So there'll be two lines on either side of the trees. But for the first year, we keep the drip line directly right at the roots. So as the trees grow, then we move the drip out, and then it'll get buried underground. And so that's what we're gonna do. You can see how good the beans look. They came up really evenly and nice. They look super healthy, so that's a good sign. We got good soil here that I've been building for over 10 years. And you can see how good these trees are growing. I'm really happy with these so far. So yeah, I'll keep you guys posted. You'll see how much they grow this year, and then by next year you'll see how big they've gotten. So that's pretty exciting. And then over here is our old trees that are still producing. You know, not giving us bumper crops or anything, but they're still keeping us going. So super grateful. So this is a pheromone trap, and it's for the codling moths, or well, the navel orange worm, which is the biggest pest for us here with the almonds. And so we have these traps hanging in the trees throughout the orchard, and basically it's not poison, it's a pheromone, which it confuses the moths. So yeah, what it does is disrupt the mating cycle of the navel orange worm, the moths, and so they end up not laying their eggs on the almonds, and it works really well, and so it really eliminates the need for spraying for insects, and yeah, that's how we do it. I don't know if you can see this, but this is a hummingbird moth, or it's called a sphinx moth. They're really cool, big moths, great pollinators. Okay, everyone, well, that's my little tour for today before it gets too hot out here. I actually got up at 4 a.m. this morning so I could get some stuff done before the heat wave comes. And actually today it's only supposed to be in the mid-90s, so that's not too bad considering it's the end of July. Last week it was about 108 here. So yeah, thanks for watching. Cheers, everyone. So just for comparison, I'm driving by this conventional almond orchard, and you can see the difference between our orchard and this one. And here you can see a recent planting of the almonds, and with no bean interplanting, and you can see the difference. And these trees look a lot punier than ours. So yeah, I like to say that we're always doing a better job than